Elizabeth are doing some homework. Who's not being smart? Elizabeth. Charlotte's safe because the iron is turned off. While out camping, you come across an angry brown bear that's coming closer and closer to you. What should you do? Fall to the ground. That way the bear won't see you as a threat. He placed his watch on the table and was looking for his train ticket when the train went into a dark tunnel. When it came out, Brian's watch was gone. Who took the watch? It was Mary. When the journey started, she had her sleeves rolled up, and if she were sleeping, she wouldn't put them down. These two travelers are so tired, they fell asleep on the job. Whose decision isn't smart? Sally's. When one pilot is asleep, the co-pilot can take over. She realized one $10 bill was missing. Shirley looked around. One of these people must have taken the bill. The bill is under his right foot.
Alrighty, hello and welcome back. We are now playing Brightside, Riddles, and Puzzles, available now on the Xbox Store for $7.99. Sheesh, nighttime sheesh. I just had to turn on the Dallas 49ers game, so I got that going. Let's check out Brightside, Riddles, and Puzzles. And kickoff. So we have 33 achievements for the 1000 gamer score. Who's lying? Right, play.
Mr. Morrison was the owner of a small company. Only 4 people worked there. One day, he came to the office and didn't find his favorite slippers. He always put them on while working. The man searched everywhere and finally spotted them on the roof of the building. Mr. Morrison was furious. He entered the office and started to question his employees. Daniel said, "I don't even know where you keep your slippers." Andrew said, "I'm terrified of heights. I have never climbed up there." Sandra said, "I'm wearing high heels today. I can hardly walk in them." Emily said, "I respect you too much to do it to you." One of the employees is lying. Who is it?
I say it's X.
It's Andrew. He said he was afraid of heights. But on his table, there's a photo in which he's skydiving with a parachute.
Interesting.
Melissa's boyfriend proposed to her and presented a beautiful diamond ring. The girl was afraid of losing it. That's why she kept it in a box on her vanity table. Once, after a long and difficult working day, the girl came home and went straight to bed. When she woke up, the ring was gone. Melissa called the police. They asked 3 suspects, Melissa's roommate, her best friend, and her neighbor, what they had been doing the night before. Helen, Melissa's roommate for the last 3 years, said Melissa had indeed looked very tired. She took the tea Helen made for her and went to her room at 10 p.m. Helen went to bed shortly after. Eric, Melissa's best friend, said he had come to visit Melissa at about 11:30 p.m. The girl was already sleeping, but he saw a jewelry box lying open on the table. It was empty. Eric was surprised and left immediately after that.
Why would he visit her at
Brenda, the
11:30?
neighbor, said she wanted to borrow a book from Melissa, but when she called her, the girl didn't answer. So Brenda decided not to bother her so late at night. The police soon realized one of these people was lying. Who was it?
I'm gonna say it's a dude. Suspicious to go at 11.
It was Eric. He was only asked what he had been doing the evening before, but he mentioned the jewelry box. He must have known the ring was missing because he took it. A group of friends went camping. They found a beautiful place in the forest near the river. They were planning to spend a week there. But on the 3rd day, Chris disappeared. The rest of the group gathered near a campfire to figure out where he could be. Paul said, "We didn't have enough firewood. I went deeper into the forest to get some. When I came back, Chris was already gone." Ashley said, "I was near the river washing my t-shirt. I stained it with ketchup during lunch." Nancy said, "I felt unwell, so I decided to take a nap. I was sleeping when an owl woke me up. One
Owl?
of the young people is lying. Do you know who it is? It's Nancy. Owls sleep during the day. It means an owl couldn't have woken the girl. Someone started a gas leak in Mark's apartment. Luckily, the man noticed it. He called the police. After searching the place, they found a watch. Mark claimed it wasn't his. The detective decided to set up an ambush. The watch looked expensive. Surely the criminal would return to get it back. At around midnight, they heard the key turn in the door lock. In a while, a man came in. He was holding a lit candle in his hands. At first, the detective wanted to arrest the man, but after a while, he realized it wasn't the person they had been waiting for. How did he figure it out? Whatever the man was doing in Mark's apartment, he wasn't the one responsible for the gas leak. That criminal wouldn't have entered the apartment holding a burning candle. They would be sure the place was still full of gas. The police found out one particular gang was going to rob a bank. An undercover agent was sent to the restaurant where the criminals always gathered in the evening. His task was to attach a tiny GPS tracker to one of the gang members. Then the police would know about their location and would be able to prevent the robbery. The leader of the gang was the mastermind of the group. All other members were just muscle. The undercover officer had to be very attentive around the leader. The man could easily spot the device, but no other gang member would notice it. Where should the agent place the tracker? On the gang leader's backpack. He's the only person who can spot the device, but not if it's on his own back.
I was going to say the
Police
backpack.
got a call from the house of a wealthy man. He didn't come home after going for a jog. When several police officers arrived, they questioned all the people in the house. They were the maid, the millionaire's wife, and his driver.
The wife.
The maid said, "When Mr. Jones went for a jog, he asked me to prepare his breakfast. I immediately got down to work. But it's been 3 hours, and he hasn't returned yet." The wife was worried too. "I saw him in the morning, but he was in a hurry. We just greeted each other, and I went to work." The driver told the police he had been waiting for his boss in the car, scrolling through his social media. Who knows something about the millionaire's disappearance?
The wife. I'm going to say at the last second, though.
The maid is
Oh.
lying. If she had cut the apples for breakfast 3 hours ago, they would have already turned brown by now.
Man.
Shirley got a new job as a sales assistant. She was extremely happy to receive her first salary. She went out for a walk in the park and decided to treat herself to some ice cream. She pulled out cash, but a powerful gust of wind has blown the money out of her hands. The girl managed to pick it up, but then she realized one $10 bill was missing.
Aw.
Shirley looked around. One of these people must have taken the bill. Can you figure out who it was? It's the man in the red baseball cap. The bill is under his right foot.
Oh, jeez.
Detective Larson was walking along the street. Suddenly, he saw a man grab an elderly woman's bag and run away. The detective immediately rushed after the criminal, but the man disappeared behind the kitchen door of a small restaurant. When Detective Larson entered, he saw 3 cooks preparing food. Which cook is fake?
I say B.
It's the man holding the salad bowl. He's the only one not wearing gloves. People began to disappear in a large town. 1 month after it started, the police came across an abandoned house. In its basement, they found 2 men. Each of them claimed that he had been locked up there and that the other man was the one to keep him in the basement. But it was clear that only one of them was telling the truth. Look at these men attentively and say who's the liar.
The guy.
It's the man who's smiling. If he had spent 4 weeks locked up, he would have a beard and mustache by now.
Yeah, I was going to say a
But
beard.
he's clean shaven. Rachel Brown, the owner of a large and successful company, has disappeared right from her office. The police suspect that some of her subordinates might know where the woman is. They question 3 people. Ruth, the HR manager, is the first to enter. "We were going to fire an employee that day. I came to get Miss Brown's signature." Adam, the accountant, says, "I indeed came to her office. She had to approve the company's budget for the next year." Anne, the secretary, comes in last. "I saw Miss Brown today, but only for a minute or so. I asked her to sign my leave request." The police officers immediately realize who is lying. Can you figure it out too?
Yeah, I know who it is. The signature is different on B. But we're gonna guess too late.
Anne is lying. The signature on her documents is different from the others. Plus, she is the person Ruth was going to fire that day.
Oh, we didn't know
Martin
that.
bought a car in September, and now, just a month later, it's stolen.
Oof.
The police have 4 suspects, and all of them are Martin's friends. The crime happened at 10 p.m. on Wednesday. At that time, Alan was playing badminton in the park. Natalie was driving home from work. Roy was walking with his dog, and Rose was doing some grocery shopping. Who took Martin's car?
Only one that doesn't have an alibi.
It
What?
was Alan. At 10 p.m. in October, it's too dark to play badminton.
No, it's not. Who will survive?
So, you're on a desert island and you're starving. You find a bush filled with berries. You eat a few, but start to feel sick. A local, "Hey, I thought this was uninhabited." They tell you that eating watermelons and grapes will get rid of the poison, but apples and carrots will make things worse. In front of you, there are tomatoes, cabbages, oranges. Which one do you eat?
Orange.
Tomatoes! Like watermelons and grapes, they also grow on vines, unlike the rest. You're lost in the desert with just one bottle of water, but you don't know where the nearest water source is. What do? Cover yourself with your backpack to avoid sweating? Walk as quickly as you can to find water? Find shade and rest. The best option is the last one. When it gets dark, you can walk further and find help. While sightseeing in a town, a volcano erupts nearby. There's no lava coming out, just thick black smoke. You see 3 potential routes to safety. Which one do you take? A tall lighthouse is a few feet away, a basement, a car in front of you.
We're taking the car. Get the hell out of Dodge.
Go to the basement and close the door behind you. Lava smoke travels fast, and it can reach the tallest point of the lighthouse.
But if it
It's
erupts,
3
lava's
p.m.,
going into the basement.
and while walking in the middle of a desert, you come across a tall tower with a crazy scientist living there. He tells you that if you want to make it out alive, you must calculate the height of his tower. What do you use? Fallen tree branches? Your shadow? Your watch?
Use your shadow.
Your shadow. Since you
Oops.
know how tall you
Oh.
are, you can calculate how
I
many
clicked the wrong
times your
button.
shadow fits into the tower shadow. You're at a water park, and you've been taken captive by a supervillain. He takes you to the
Supervillain?
highest point of the park and shows you 3 slides: an orange one, a green one, and a yellow one. One leads to a pool filled with acid, one to a tropical paradise, and the other to a volcano filled with lava. The supervillain tells you, in a parallel world, the purple slide leads to freedom. Which one do you choose? The yellow slide. Yellow is the opposite of purple.
What?
You're on a trip into the wild. A huge angry elephant has spotted you, and it's running towards you. What do? Run down a steep slope leading to a river. Climb up a tall tree right next to you. Run straight towards some other animals, hoping it'll lose sight of you.
We're going to climb a tree.
Run down the steep slope. Elephants avoid areas with high elevation to stop themselves being injured. During a camping trip, you realize you have no water, but you're very thirsty. There are 3 ways to get water. Which one is the least dangerous? Harvest some from a cactus. Drink the water from a stagnant lake.
Ooh.
Take some water from a flowing river.
Cactus is probably the safest. Drink your own urine.
Cactus water isn't the safest, and a stagnant lake is filled with bacteria and parasites. The least dangerous option is the flowing river. You've been stuck in the wild for days, and you have no idea which way leads to civilization. Which side do you follow? A plane passing overhead? A flowing river? A group of animals?
You follow the plane.
Your best bet is the river. Since the beginning of time, people have built villages along riverbanks.
Fine.
A mysterious biologist invites you to his home for dinner. He takes you down to the basement and puts 3 plates of weird items on the table. One has wild white mushrooms with white gills. The second is filled with castor beans. The third has some fish brains. Which one is safe to eat?
I don't know what castor beans are.
The plate of fish brains is the only dish that isn't poisonous. But the dinner isn't over yet. You're taken into a room with 3 large tanks filled with salt water. You must stay in one of them for 5 minutes. The biologist promises to set you free if you make it out alive. The first contains 6 great white sharks.
Nope.
The second has 70 piranhas.
Nope.
The last one is filled with dangerous box jellyfish. Which could you survive in? In the second tank, piranhas are freshwater fish. They can't survive in salt water.
Wow.
You're leading an expedition to the North Pole. As you're sailing there, a huge chunk of ice falls into the water, causing a large wave to come your way. What do you tell your crew to do? Stop the ship and stay until the wave passes? Start moving in the opposite direction. Keep going and lean into the wave as it hits.
Go into the wave.
Leaning into the wave is the only way to get some balance. Anything else will cause your ship to capsize. You're stuck in a room that's slowly filling up with water. Help is 6 minutes away. The water will reach the ceiling in just 2 minutes. But on the floor, there's a tree branch, a straw, a bucket. Which one will buy you some time?
The bucket upside down over your head. You fill it with air and put it on like a helmet.
The bucket. Flip it over your head and it'll create an air bubble that will allow you to breathe for a while.
Not long, though.
While out camping, you come across an angry brown bear that's coming closer and closer to you. What should you do? Start running as fast as you can.
Stick it in the...
Fall to the ground and
Bang on
pretend you're
balls.
unconscious. Stay still and don't move. Fall to the ground. That way the bear won't see you as a threat.
I'm dead.
Oliver is trapped in the freezing north. David is lost in the desert without any clothes. Who will collapse first? David. The cold weather makes Oliver shiver. His muscles tighten and loosen very fast to keep him warm. But David quickly becomes dehydrated in the sun. While walking through a dense jungle, you get bitten on the leg by a venomous snake. How can you survive?
Suck it.
By drawing the venom out with your mouth. Washing the wound with water and a cloth. By tying your leg with a piece of your shirt. Tying your leg will prevent the venom from reaching the rest of your body. As you're driving down the road, you come across a fallen tree blocking your way. You get out of the car and try to move it, but then you see a huge tornado coming towards you. Boy, it's not your day. How will you survive? Get back in your car and drive fast in the opposite direction. Climb up the sturdiest tree, find a ditch on the ground and stay there until the tornado passes.
We're gonna say the ditch. Even though I would get in the car and run.
The last one. If the tornado passes over you, it won't sweep you up. You walk into a room, and right when you close the door, it catches fire. There's no way out, but firefighters are on their way. How will you buy yourself some time until help arrives? By lying flat on the floor, by climbing onto a chair to avoid the flames, by standing in the corner of the room.
They are.
It's the first option. Smoke travels upwards toward the ceiling, so lying flat on the floor will help you to breathe. You're trapped in a maze inside an abandoned castle. You can pick only one door to stay alive. The first one leads to a room filled with sharp blades and knives. The second has dozens of venomous snakes and spiders. Behind the third door, there's an electrified moat. Which one do you pick?
We're gonna go see the spiders.
The last door. Since this is an abandoned castle, you can flip the light switch to check if it has electricity and then go through there. A creepy professor has taken you to his secret island. He wants to see how smart you are. He presents you with, guess what, 3 doors, but only one is safe. The first one leads to 5 of the most dangerous people on Earth. The second leads to a room with a powerful laser and mirrors on the wall. The third leads to a lab filled with radioactive waste. Which is the least dangerous option?
The people.
The first door. It'll be easier to deceive the people there into letting you walk free. You're lost in an ancient cave system, and you come across 3 tunnels. You must swim through them to the exit. The first is filled with lava.
Dead.
The second has stagnant water containing bacteria and parasites. The third contains cornstarch mixed with water. Which one is the least dangerous to go through?
My guess is A, actually.
Stagnant water is your best option. Lava will burn you, and cornstarch water will swallow you in just a few minutes. Good luck!
Seven correct. Wow. Who's not very smart?
Charlotte and Elizabeth are doing some homework.
I know the answer to
Charlotte is
this
going to iron
one.
some clothes, and Elizabeth is about to cook. Who's not being smart? Elizabeth. Charlotte's safe because the iron is turned off. Lucas and Liam are going on a field trip with their kids. Lucas is distracted while his daughter is climbing a tree. Liam is talking to another parent while his son is petting a dog. Who is wrong? Lucas. The branch his daughter is climbing is cracking, and she is about to fall.
She was the other
Ava
fathers.
and Olivia are finally leaving home for their first night out after maternity leave. Ava decides to walk, and Olivia is waiting for a taxi. Who is not ready?
What?
Olivia. She forgot to finish her makeup.
Oh
Michael
my
and Logan
god.
are bloggers who take selfies in dangerous places. This time, Michael is taking a selfie while surfing on a huge wave, and Logan is taking one standing on the edge of a bridge. Who is not smart? Michael. In Logan's case, at least there are people around who can call emergency services if something goes wrong. Michael is alone. It's early morning.
No,
Ian
that
and
was
Nolan
wrong.
are driving their kids to school. Who is not smart?
He doesn't have a kid in the car.
Nolan. His child is not in the car. Jackson and Emma are volunteering at an animal shelter. Jackson is feeding the cats, and Emma is washing the dogs. Who is wrong?
Feeding cat food. Or dog food to the cat.
Jackson. He gave the cats dog
I did it for the
food by
achievement.
mistake. Scarlett and Ellie are going to bed. Scarlett kept her door open so her cat could enter during the night, while Ellie prefers to close her door. Who is not smart?
She has a necklace.
Scarlett. You should always close your bedroom door at night. In case of fire, it'll stop the flames for a while and give you more time.
I never close my
Riley
bedroom
and
door.
Isabella are taking their kids to kindergarten. Riley is riding a bike with her daughter, and Isabella and her son are going by car. Who is wrong?
They don't have a helmet on. But he's in the front seat. They're both wrong.
Isabella. Her child isn't wearing a seatbelt. Lily and Oliver have job interviews at 4 o'clock. Lily is ironing her best suit, and Oliver is waiting in the hallway wearing jeans. Who's not getting the job today?
It's actually X because she's
Lily.
late.
She must have forgotten the time. The interview is in 5 minutes, and she's still at home. Sophia and Aiden are working in the garden. Sophia is watering the flowers while her cat is walking around. Aiden is mowing the lawn while his child is playing nearby. Who's not smart? Aiden. It's dangerous to use the lawnmower when children are close by. John and Brandon are making breakfast for their kids. John is making sandwiches, and Brandon is making eggs with bacon. Who is wrong?
He's not even cooking.
Brandon. He forgot to turn on the stove. Thomas and Abigail are going on a date. Thomas arrived a half an hour early and decided to buy some flowers. Abigail just returned from London and is driving to meet him. Who is wrong?
She's on the wrong side of the road.
Abigail. She's driving on the left side of the road. Ryan and Kaylee are having fun outside during their Christmas break. Ryan is learning how to skate on the lake, and Kaylee is skiing in the forest. Who is not smart?
That ice isn't safe. It's cracking.
Ryan. The ice on the lake is cracking, and there's no one around to help him. Asher and Haley are enjoying their vacations. Asher is chilling at the beach, and Haley is climbing the highest mountain around. Who is not behaving wisely?
Him, because he's sleeping in the sun.
Asher. Although Haley's activity is quite risky, she seems to be okay. But Asher fell asleep at the beach and is going to get a sunburn. Chloe and Avery are having some quality time on Friday. Chloe is reading a book, and Avery is watching a documentary. Who is missing something?
There's a fire.
Avery. She forgot to turn off the oven, and something's burning. Hannah and Maya are meeting their friends today. Hannah arrived by bike and is waiting for her friend by the house. Maya arrived by car, opened the doors, and is waiting for her friend to come down. Who is not smart? Maya. It's not safe to stay in the car with unlocked doors. A stranger can quickly get in the car and she wouldn't be able to do anything from the front seat.
Oh
Mason
my
and
god.
Jacob are going on a trip to the desert where they'll spend a whole day. Who is not adequately prepared? Mason, the sun is powerful and he's not wearing a hat. Emily and Madison are spending their time outdoors, but it's not their lucky day. Emily stumbled and fell in some mud. Madison was swinging but fell. Now they both are getting up. Who made a mistake? Madison. The swing is still moving, and it may hit her head if she gets up. Aubrey and James are cleaning the house. Aubrey is listening to music while vacuuming the living room.
It's not plugged in.
James is washing the windows. Who is not being smart?
This game tries to trick you.
Aubrey. The vacuum cleaner isn't plugged in. Mia and Ethan are going on summer vacation. Mia is going to Greece, and Ethan is visiting his brother in Sydney. Who is not smart? Ethan. He's packed shorts and swimwear, but he won't need them because it's winter in Australia. Carter and Layla are in a hurry for work. Carter is walking while talking on his phone, and Layla is running while texting. Who's going to be late? Layla. She's looking at her phone and doesn't see the pit she's about to walk into.
That
Leah and
was
Aaron
a trick
are
question.
driving to meet their friends. Leah has all of her things scattered in the car, and Aaron is traveling above the speed limit. Who is not smart?
They're both not smart.
Leah. It's not safe to keep unprotected things inside the car. In case she stops suddenly, something can hit her very
SMS
hard.
received.
William and Daniel are driving and are late for work. Who is wrong? Daniel. He's driving way above the speed limit in the neighborhood. Jane and Amelia are resting in the park after running 5 miles. Jane is eating, and Amelia is drinking water from the fountain. Who is not smart? Amelia. The warning sign says that the water isn't drinkable. Max and Ezra were driving around the desert and got stuck in the middle of nowhere. They burned a spare tire to produce some smoke. Max stayed close to the tire, and Ezra walked away in search of something helpful. Who is not smart? Ezra. You should never leave the vehicle. Chances are the rescuers will notice the smoke and find you. But if you go, you might miss them. Both Jonathan and Savannah didn't sleep well and are starting their morning. While Savannah is preparing some coffee, Jonathan is taking out the trash. Who is doing something wrong? Jonathan. Instead of the trash, he's taking out the old toys they collected to donate. Stella and Aurora didn't study for the test. One of them decided to try her best, and the other is planning to cheat. Can you spot who's cheating? Stella. She has a lot of bags surrounding her, so she must be trying to hide something. Miles and Cooper were walking in a park when a sudden storm erupted. Lightning struck a tree, and Miles decided to hide under it. Cooper entered a little shack nearby. Who is wrong? Miles. The belief that lightning never strikes in the same place twice is just a common misconception. An indoor shelter is one of the best places to hide. Leo and Melanie are preparing a barbecue party. Leo is cooking and Melanie is decorating the yard. Who is not smart?
Because she's letting the balloons fly away.
Leo. While he's cooking, the meat is spoiling in the direct sun.
Alright, so what are the achievements in this game? Finish the video answering every question correctly. Alright, which family is poor?
So Dave had to sneak into his mom's computer to delete some emails he accidentally sent her. His mom had a bad memory, so she always had notes with her passcodes. Luckily, the note was right there again, saying 9868. Dave entered the passcode, but it was wrong. Why? And what's the actual passcode? The note was just turned upside down. The actual passcode is 8986. Stephanie came home after a long day at work. She was very excited to finally eat her favorite chocolate she had been dreaming about all day. But the chocolate was gone. Stephanie interrogated each of her family members. Her husband said, "I just got home from work too and haven't eaten anything all day." Her daughter Della said, "I was studying all day and didn't eat anything too." Della's twin brother, Arnie, said, "It wasn't me." Who ate the chocolate?
The wrapper was in her. Unless it was A and he planted it in B.
Take a closer look at Della's desk. There's a chocolate wrapper, but she said she didn't eat anything. She must have lied. A grocery store manager noticed that recently they started to lose watermelons. He suggested that there's a watermelon thief coming at the store from time to time. He opened one of the security videos and could immediately tell who the thief was. Look at the picture and try to guess who is the culprit. Look at the guy in the middle. He has a ball in his hands, but he's holding it like it's very heavy. Usually, balls aren't heavy, so it must be a watermelon. Tom and Mark came to the job audition. The company doesn't want to hire parents because they need full commitment. Both men said that they're not parents, but one of them is lying. Can you tell who? It's Mark. Take a closer look at his hand. There's a pink scrunchie on it. He must have done his daughter's hair before the audition. Mrs. Smith invited her neighbors over for a fancy dinner. She used her best tea set and silver cutlery and cooked a great meal. However, during the dinner, she realized that one of her neighbors is a vampire. Who is the vampire, and how did she understand it? The vampire is the one who brought his own plastic spoon and is eating with it instead of with Mrs. Smith's silver cutlery. That's because vampires are afraid of silver. Four friends met after the summer break and talked about how their summer went. Toby was bragging about the months he spent in Chile and how hot it was there. However, his friends didn't believe him and called him a liar. Why?
I don't know.
Chile is located in the southern hemisphere. During the summertime, it's winter there. Toby said it was hot, which can't be true. Three friends, Blair, Chloe, and Nell, were walking all day around town. They found a beautiful but dusty house where no one lived. They entered it and started to take pictures. In the evening, they were scrolling through the pictures and one of them made a scream. Take a look at the photos and say which one scared them and why. It's the first picture. There was no one in the house except for the girls, but on that picture, they're all three of them together, snapped from behind. Michelle was having a birthday party. She noticed her brother was eating in his room with some girl. However, she didn't know who it was. She got very curious, so after they left, she sneaked into his room to find some hints. There were 3 girls at her party: Jasmine, Sydney, and Nicole. Michelle immediately guessed who her brother was dating. Can you? Her brother was dating Jasmine. Look at the dishes and the cutlery. There's a lipstick stain on the fork. Jasmine is the only one wearing lipstick. Pamela is a lawyer and Samantha is a journalist. Can you guess which one of these women is a mother? Take a look at the background. On the wall behind Samantha, there's some colorful marker scribbles. She must be a mother. Gianna was getting ready for her date. Suddenly, the lights in her apartment went off. She was almost ready and only needed her gloves. It was dark and she couldn't find a fitted pair. She only had gloves of 2 colors, brown and black. She was already late, so she decided to leave, taking several gloves with her. How many gloves should she take with her to be sure there's a pair of the same color? She just needs 3. Even if the first 2 are of a different color, the third one will either be black or brown, matching the other one. A police officer was following a robber around the city. Suddenly, the robber entered the hospital and disappeared. When the police officer entered the building, there were 3 workers. One of them must be a robber who dressed up to pretend to be a doctor. Can you tell who?
The badge.
It's the man in the middle. Look at his badge. There's a picture of a woman on it. He must have worn the first pair of clothes he noticed. It was Christmas morning and the whole family was home. When Bailey returned in her room after watching her show on TV, she found that someone stole all the presents she had been wrapping. She questioned every person in the house. Her mom said that she had been making dinner. Her dad said he had been mowing the lawn. Her brother said he had been playing video games in his room. Who stole the presents?
It was snowing. How was he mowing the lawn?
It was Bailey's dad. It's winter, and we could see that it's snowing outside. He just couldn't mow the lawn.
Billy.
In the Arts Museum, the lights went off for a couple of minutes. When they came back on, the most expensive painting was missing. The detective arrived and started the investigation. There were 3 suspects, and he questioned each of them. Jessica, a dance teacher, said that she had been so scared when the lights went off that she couldn't even move and for sure didn't touch anything. Derek, a journalist, said he'd been in the bathroom at the time. Collins, an engineer, said he had been in a different room of the museum, watching the dinosaur fossil. Who's lying?
His eyes are moving around
It's
too much.
Collins. It's an art museum. There are no dinosaur exhibitions. Can you tell who's not a real werewolf? It's actually the guy who looks like a werewolf. Werewolves only turn into wolves during the time of the full moon and at night. It's daytime now, so the guy must be just wearing a costume. Esme was having a walk in the forest. After the dawn, she tried to find her way back home, but got lost. Finally, she came across a witch's house and asked her to take her home. The witch agreed to help her, but only if Esme solved her riddle. If not, she'd have to stay with the witch forever. The witch took an apple, tied a string to it, and held it. She asked Esme to cut the string in half so that the apple didn't fall down. However, Esme couldn't touch the apple or hold it. How could she do it?
Make a knot, only pretend to cut it from top to bottom. That sounds good.
Esme should tie a knot in the middle of the string, make it into a loop, and then cut the apple. The time police have found out that there's a time traveler who uses the time machine more often than allowed.
The time
They tracked
police.
him and followed him to the Stone Age. Can you guess who's the time traveler? It's this guy who's wearing sneakers. Sneakers in the Stone Age? Really? Mr. Brown was robbed in the street. The culprit hit him on the right side of his head and ran away with his wallet. Mr. Brown didn't see who it was, but he noticed that the person entered a nearby hospital. When he entered, there were 3 people sitting there. Take a close look at them and tell who was the culprit. Mr. Brown was hit on the right side of his face. This means that the robber is left-handed. Look at where the bags stand next to those people. The first woman has her purse on the left side of her, which means it must have been her. For her birthday, Sienna got a beautiful hairpin. She brought it to school and showed it to her friends during lunch. Then she left for the bathroom, and when she returned, the hairpin was gone. Take a look at the pictures before and after and tell which of her friends
Guilty.
stole it.
Hello, Scratch. They're the same.
Look at the glass of juice of the red-haired girl. It looks like there's more juice on the later picture. No, there's not. She just put a hairpin in the glass. Mr. Green got in a car accident and spent a month in the hospital. He got amnesia and partially forgot things. He didn't have any family, and after a month, he finally returned
Hello,
home.
Stag.
He found his street, but then he realized he didn't remember which of the 2 houses was actually his. Can you guess which one it was?
X looks more like a church.
His house is the one where the snow is unshoveled. He spent a month in the hospital and lives alone, so no one could clean the driveway. Look at the Christmas photos of 2 families. Can you tell which family is poor?
Oh my god, which family is poor?
The poor family is the second one. Even though the son has a big present, the parents don't have any presents at all. They probably couldn't afford to buy presents for themselves.
I got 1 wrong. No, 3 wrong. Okay. Got an achievement, though. We knew you could. Nice. Fight 1. Okay. Ooh. Wow.
Okay, stay with me here. You are running down a corridor with 3 doors looming ahead of you. You hear the blood-chilling sounds of a vampire, mad scientist, and mutant animals all chasing after you. You have to choose one of the doors right away. The sounds are getting closer and closer, and boo! Gotcha! Do you have the quick problem-solving skills to survive any dire situation? Well, take this test and find out. Hey, keep track of how many you get right. Your results will be at the end. Number 1. A vampire attack. A hungry vampire is following you on a lonely street one dark night. Suddenly, you see a house with its door wide open and decide to hide there. The vampire can't enter your shelter, but is patiently waiting outside. However, you still have some hope. There are 3 tunnels leading out of the house. But inside the first tunnel, there's molten lava. The walls of the second tunnel keep closing every 10 seconds, crushing everything that gets inside. As for the third tunnel, its floors are so rotted and weak that the slightest weight will collapse them and send you falling down into an abyss. What should you do? You have 10 seconds to figure it out.
We're going to the abyss. Wait, what's why?
Hey, just wait till morning. Vampires can't stand daylight, and your pursuer will have to leave you alone. Number 2.
Had why.
A virus. A terrible virus broke
COVID.
free from a laboratory, and now all animals and plants on Earth are mutating at a horrifying speed. You've been trying to find the solution, but instead got trapped in a lab where it all started. There are 3 doors you can escape through. Are you starting to see the pattern? But behind the first one, there are some aggressive, flesh-eating cacti. The second door hides hundreds of extremely poisonous bees, and the third door prevents an attack from now fire-breathing cheetahs. Which door can lead you to freedom? Use your 10 seconds wisely.
We're gonna try the bees.
You can get out of there alive if you choose the first door. Even though the cacti eat flesh, they're still plants and can't move, so you can easily get around them. Number 3. Which lever? This time you've been captured by a mad scientist. He's probably the one who came up with that last virus. Anyway, he's locked you in a cage, but he left you a chance to escape. All you have to do is choose one of 3 levers on the wall next to you. The first lever lets hungry wolves into the cage. The second fills the cage with water. And the third lever sends a mechanism at the top of the cage crashing down toward the floor, threatening to squish you like a bug. Ew! Which lever should you opt for to survive?
Cage can't hold water.
Your only choice is the second lever. Yeah, it's supposed to fill the cage with water, but all the liquid will flow out through the bars of the cage. The scientists should have thought that one through a little better. Number 4. A persistent pursuer. So, remember the vampire you managed to escape from some time ago? Bad news. It's nighttime again, and he's back.
Nighttime, I see you.
You managed to get to a room with not 1, not 2, but 3 buttons. When you press the first one, a bolt of lightning will strike the vampire. By pressing the second button, you'll make the room fill with treasures, golden and silver coins, dishes, and jewelry. You'll be able to hide among them. And the third button will point several lenses, concentrating sunlight at the vampire. Which button should you press? Think fast, he's coming!
I like the gold and silver, though. But it's nighttime.
Lightning won't kill the vampire, and there's no sunlight at night. But silver hurts vampires when they touch it, so hiding in those silver coins is the best idea. Number 5. The dive of your life. You're diving in the ocean when you come across a beautiful underwater cave network. But soon enough, you get yourself lost and end up with just 3 tunnel exits to choose from ahead.
Of course, it's
In the
3.
first, you see a huge basking shark with a mouth big enough to gulp you up like a peanut. The second is swarming with box jellyfish, the most venomous species in the world. The third tunnel is extremely
Xbox.
long, and your oxygen tank probably won't make the journey. So, which tunnel do you choose? Your 10 seconds start now.
We're going in A.
Go with the first tunnel. Despite their huge size and scary-sounding name, basking sharks are totally harmless to humans. Number 6. An escape plan. You're locked in a room. Again? You really should be more careful. And guess what? Yes, one of 3 doors is your escape route. Behind the first door, there's a crocodile that hasn't eaten for 2 years. The second door hides a lion that's been hungry for almost 2 weeks. And behind the third door, there's a red-hot desert. Which door leads to freedom?
Alligator who hasn't eaten for 2 years because he's dead.
Well, before you assume those predators are long gone after starving like that, think again. Crocodiles can go up to 3 years without food, and lions can do the same for 2 weeks. So yeah, they're still alive, and you must look absolutely delicious to them. Just wait till the desert cools off at night and leave through the third door.
I didn't...
Number 7.
Wow.
An ice castle. Well, you find yourself stuck in an ice castle. Surprise, surprise. There are 3 doors you can escape through. Surprise, surprise, surprise. But behind the first door, you'll encounter an angry bear. Behind the second door, it's so cold you'll be frozen on the spot. And the corridor behind the third door is filled chest high with water swarming with piranhas. Which door will you choose?
It's a trick question. Nah, you don't mess with a polar bear.
Now, if it's an ice castle, then the water behind the third door will also be frozen. Just climb on top of it and crawl out. Poor fishies, though. Wait a minute, they're piranha. Number 8. The mad scientist's magic lotion. Yes, he's back, and he's kidnapped you. The scientist wants to test his new protective cream on you. After covering you with his magic lotion, which you absolutely don't trust, he makes you choose one of 3 containers to jump in. One of the containers is filled with radioactive waste. In the second container, there's acid that can eat through metal. The third one is filled with lava from a volcano that destroyed a whole town a year ago. Which container will it be? You have 10 seconds to decide.
Lava from a year ago. It's cooled off.
A. Pick the container with lava. If the volcano erupted a year ago, the lava will already be solid and cool. Number 9. Locked in a room. Well, since you just outsmarted the scientist, he decides to throw you in a room. You can only escape your dungeon through a hatch in the ceiling. Why are you asking? Yes, there are 3 of them. But upon opening the first hatch, you'll be met by a nest of venomous snakes. A tank of boiling water is on top of the second hatch. And on the third hatch, there's that really hungry lion still waiting for a meal. He's recycling the prizes here. Pretty smart, huh? So, which hatch should you pick to escape when the villain falls asleep?
Open A slowly, let the water go in, and you can go out.
Yeah, choose the second one, because the boiling water will eventually evaporate. Number 10. A mutant beast. So, back to the virus that escaped from the lab. This virus has turned some innocent animals into horrifying monsters. One of them has the bottom part of a mantis and the top part of a hammerhead shark. The second one is even more bizarre, an ape with an iguana's head. And the third one is a tiger with the head of an elephant. You have to fight one of these animals in an arena. Yes, you do. So, which one will you choose to increase your chances of survival?
Yeah. It'd be that big. I smash you.
Choose the mantis with the shark's head. Sharks can't breathe on land, so the monster won't even make it long enough for the fight to begin. Number 11. An angry rhino. You're a plastic surgeon and you just finished a bad nose job and the patient is furious with you. No wait, that's rhinoplasty. Never mind. You're really on an African safari when, there's a furious rhino straight ahead and it's about to charge. Will you try to scare the animal away by shouting and trying to look intimidating? Or will you hide in the bushes or behind a tree? Maybe you can outrun it.
You can't
got
outrun
10
it.
seconds before this guy makes a pancake out of you.
We're gonna hide.
The only effective way to escape an angry rhino is to hide behind a tree or in the bushes. These animals have really poor eyesight, and if you hide, they'll soon forget about you. And no, you can't outrun a charging rhino. They have a credit card. Charging rhino, get it?
Ba-dum-bum.
Number 12. A room without windows. Well, they must have a Mac. Okay, I'll stop. You're trapped in a room that's slowly getting filled with water coming from a faucet in the wall. There are no windows in the room, and the door is sealed shut. You have a mop and a big bucket. So, how are you going to get yourself out of this one? Hey, just turn the faucet off. Yeah.
Seven of 12. Okay, not bad. This is some funny games. Try to survive. Left or right toilet? Guess
Okay,
who?
let's expand that mind of yours. What would you choose to survive? What would you do if one day they stuck you in a casket and buried you alive? To escape, you'd need to think outside the box.
Duh.
Get it? Outside the box? Casket? Never mind. Have you ever wondered how you'd fare if you were in a life and death situation? How's your knowledge of toxic gases? Did you pay attention in chemistry class? You might want to review your periodic table. We've put together 4 scenarios to test your survival skills. Are you ready?
We're dead.
Scenario number 1. Swallowed by the ground. Imagine that you're out enjoying your day. You're taking a hike down a rocky mountain all by yourself. All of a sudden, an earthquake shakes the ground. The earthquake causes a hole to open up right under your feet, and you plunge down 10 feet. Ouch! You pick yourself up and look at your surroundings. You are in a cave. The rocks are smooth, and you can't climb back up. But there are 2 paths ahead of you, and you can see light shining through them. You start walking forward, but wait up. You take a closer look at the paths and see this. You take a look down path A and see that it's full of snakes. Path B is full of spiders. Unless you're a snake lover, you have a tough choice ahead of you. Studies from a university in Germany have found that humans are hardwired to fear spiders and snakes from birth. They showed 6-month-old babies pictures of flowers and fish, and then pictures of snakes and spiders. The babies' pupils dilated in fear and stress when they were shown the pictures of snakes and spiders. So, if babies have that fear response, we can empathize with you.
You're welcome, Moobot.
From where you stand, you can see a few features of a snake. It has a dark back and dark upper head. Along its side are 15 to 25 round pale blotches. Its eyes are so dark that you can't see the pupils, and it shakes its tail at you. One spider makes its way out of the cave, and you catch a glimpse of it. The spider is about 1 inch long. It's shiny black, and it has a reddish hourglass design on its belly. You can't be stuck there forever, so you have to decide which path to take. We'll give you 15 seconds.
Black Widow is poisonous, but it doesn't kill you. Brown Widows are more poisonous.
It's nice to be out of there. If you chose Path A, you're correct. Path A has a type of snake called a ball python. Ball pythons are usually shy and non-venomous, and they make great pets for snake lovers. Path B is full of black widow spiders. Oy. The black widow spider sends approximately 2,500 people to the hospital each year in the U.S. It's a highly venomous
go
spider,
away.
and its bite produces muscle cramping, nausea, and paralysis of the diaphragm, which makes it difficult to breathe. We hope you chose well.
Jeez.
Number 2. Bear encounter. No, you're not naked or anything. Imagine you've been getting your exercise by running on a trail in a forest. You got a good workout, and now you're headed back to your car.
Hello,
You
Sir
can see your
Khalid.
car in the distance when you suddenly stop in your tracks. You notice that a nearby bear is looking right at you, and you just happen to forget your bear spray. Bear encounters can result in injuries to people or their pets. You've heard that if you encounter a bear, you should play dead. But then you remember that it's only applicable if a grizzly is attacking you and feels threatened. Well, the bear isn't attacking you yet, but it is close to you and looking at you. You can see that your car is close and are unsure of how to handle the situation. So, what would you do? Would you run or walk to your car? We'll give you 15 seconds to decide.
We're gonna slowly walk towards the car. Because if you run, it's gonna chase.
If you chose to walk to your car, you'd be correct. If you back up slowly, the bear is likely to leave you alone. In a real-life situation, if a bear spots you, it's recommended that you talk calmly to the bear so it can identify you as a human. Bears have poor eyesight, and they might think you are prey if you don't talk to them.
It's okay,
If you
bear.
decided to run, that's only natural. Your runner's instinct might want to kick in. But know that you can't outrun a bear. Bears can charge at 30 miles per hour, and grizzlies can reach up to 35 miles per hour. Most of us are not as speedy as the fastest man in the world, Usain Bolt, who can reach up to 27 miles per hour. Running away can trigger an animal's instinctual response to chase you. Number 3. Lethal choices. Imagine that for some nefarious reason, a crazy scientist has locked you in a room and is testing your knowledge of lethal substances.
Great, we're
The
dead.
only way you'll get to leave is if you choose the substance that is the least harmful. But beware that all the options you'll face will be harmful. You need to pick the one that will do less damage than the others and allow you to walk out of there and get yourself to a doctor. You need to ingest one of the substances orally. Which one would you pick? Here are the options. Bottle 1 contains a solid substance called tetrodotoxin. Bottle 2 contains a substance called Botox. You might have heard of this one. Bottle 3 contains a substance called BZ. We'll give you 15 seconds to decide. Bottoms up.
I know Botox is like a rat poison. I don't know what BZ is or tetrodotoxin. Cat? Come on, go away.
If you're familiar with Botox, you might have chosen Bottle 2. Botox, or botulinum toxin, is one of the most poisonous substances known to us.
Oops.
It blocks nerve activity in the muscles, and it's lethal when inhaled or ingested orally. Well, let's just put some of it in our face, shall we? Actually, it does have some positive qualities, as it's commonly used around the world for cosmetic purposes and to treat painful muscle spasms. Tetrodotoxin is an extremely potent poison found in fish organs. We can thank the pufferfish for that. This neurotoxin can shut down nerve conduction between the brain and body by blocking your sodium channels. A moderate dose can paralyze the muscles you need to live, making it lethal. The right answer is bottle number 3. Bottle number 3 contains a substance called BZ, a non-lethal substance that can temporarily disable a person. The effect is achieved within 30 to 50 minutes. So if you walk fast, you'll be able to call for help. You
Help.
better hurry up. Number 4. Under the sea.
Under the
We in
sea.
luck here, under the muck here, under the sea.
Nice.
Alright, nobody remembers Little Mermaid? Okay. Well, imagine
Jordan, come
waking
on.
up to find yourself in an underwater facility. You need to make your way back up to the surface. You're in a room with 3 vials. One vial will help you breathe underwater and get back up to the surface. The other 2 are lethal. They are all filled with gases that you can't see, but you can smell them. You are being tested on your knowledge of toxic gases. Here are the options. Vial 1 has a gas that is colorless and smells like rotten eggs.
Nope.
Vial 2 contains a colorless gas smelling slightly of garlic. Vial number 3 contains a mixture of two gases. The combination is colorless and tasteless, and it doesn't have a smell. Keep in mind that none of the vials contain pure oxygen.
Garlic?
Which vial would you pick?
We're
We'll
going
give
with
you
3.
15 seconds to decide.
Hello, M317. I've been dying a lot in this game. One is natural gas, so we know that's not good. I don't know what one that smells like garlic.
If you said vial number 3, you are correct.
Good, how are you?
Vial number 3 contains hydrox, which is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. It is a breathing gas, and since it is commonly used for deep diving, it will help you get back up to the surface.
Good, good.
Vial number 1 contains hydrogen sulfide. This is a highly flammable gas that reduces the body's oxygen supply, damaging the nervous system and paralyzes the respiratory system.
You're
With
dead.
low concentrations, you can experience eye, nose, and throat irritation. High concentrations of this gas can make it hard to breathe and cause an immediate coma. So this is bad, right? Okay. Vial number 2 contains arsine, a flammable and poisonous gas. People exposed to a low or moderate dose of arsine can experience confusion, fatigue, or even paralysis and loss of function.
Why does it smell like garlic?
Vials number 1 and number 2 could have been lethal.
I got 2 right. Escape from the castle.
You wake up in a dark, cold dungeon. You don't remember how you got here, and you don't know what's going on. You rub your head because it hurts. Your ears are ringing. Hey, calm down and focus. Creepy puzzles are waiting for you, and at the end of the video, you'll see how good at them you are. You see several strange symbols scratched on a brick wall. It's 4 vertical stripes, 3 stripes below, and a check mark even lower. Next, you come to a grid. A huge rusty lock is hanging on it. There's no key. Look around and try to figure out how you can get out. Have you noticed that brick that sticks out of the wall?
That's what I was
Try
circling.
pushing it. Ha! It worked. A secret door opens and you make your way outside.
I got
You
that
go
one
down
game.
the stairs and see a large hall. Several torches light up and you spot 4 huge mirrors. They reflect Frankenstein, a skeleton, a zombie, and a vampire. One of these creatures is a human being. Can you guess who it is? Vampires don't get reflected in the mirror, so you're looking at a human. He gives you a small bone and warns that you will need it. You get outside and realize you're in the courtyard. This is the territory of a large, sinister castle. There are no clouds in the sky, and the sun is hidden behind one of the tall towers. You can see 3 gates ahead. A werewolf is next to the first one. A second gate is guarded by a huge scorpion the size of a car. And the third gate has a scary, alive gargoyle. Something is wrong here. Find out what exactly.
The werewolf.
The sun is shining brightly, so there's no full moon. So what's a werewolf doing here? It's just a human in a costume. The werewolf opens the gate and you go through. You're back in the castle and step into a small room. There are cobwebs everywhere and a lot of garbage on the floor. You can see a jar of salt on the table and a note on the wall. It says, "A circle of salt." You decide to take the jar just in case. At this point, a slippery, viscous liquid starts dripping onto your shoulder.
Oh no.
You look up and see a big spider descending towards you on its web. You run away and see 3 doors. You can hear screaming behind the first one. Behind the second door, you hear the sound of a chainsaw. A dog is barking behind the third one. Quickly, you've got to decide where to go.
Chainsaw.
Run to the third door. Yeah, you'll meet an angry dog, but you have a bone. You throw it, and the dog immediately feels better. It nibbles on its trophy and forgets all about you.
Forgot about the
On
bone.
the floor, you can see human footprints that lead to the next door. You push the handle down. It's locked. Look around the room and find the key. The dog is gnawing on the bone, and the key is glinting on its collar. You pet the dog and gently remove the key from its neck. You open the door. It's dark, and you can't see anything. You take a small step forward and fall into a deep hole. Fortunately, you're not hurt. On the ground, you find an old MP3 player with headphones. It still has some battery left. Great, you put it in your pocket. You can't climb up the smooth walls of the pit.
That wasn't
but
an
you can see that
MP3
someone
player.
has thrown down 2 ropes for you to get out. One rope is white and slightly shining. The other looks quite ordinary. Choose which you should use to get out.
The normal rope.
The white rope is a spider web. The spider is still chasing you. So you choose the normal rope. You get out of the pit. The rope is tied to a marble pillar. You untie it and put it in your pocket. You slowly walk down a dark corridor and hear a growl behind you. It's a werewolf. The full moon is out. You run out of the corridor and find yourself in the street. There are 3 paths ahead of you. The first road is covered with lava. The second one is swarming with snakes. And the third road leads to a poisonous lake. Hurry up, the werewolf is coming.
Poisonous lake? We'll go to the lake.
There's a shoe lying right on the water on the left side of the lake. This means that the lake is frozen. You're sliding on the ice and falling. The werewolf is still chasing you, but it slips too, and you have time to run to the solid ground. There's a massive tower ahead. You run inside and close the door.
Barry.
You find yourself in a circular hall lit by torches. Human faces appear on the walls. Their hands begin to reach out. The phantoms are slowly approaching you. They're everywhere, surrounding you. What will you do? Remember that jar of salt and the note saying, "A circle of salt"? You should spill salt around you, and the phantoms won't dare cross that line. You do, and then wait for a while, and they disappear. You climb up a spiral staircase to the top of the tower. The door slams shut behind you. There's one window and an iron torch stand mounted on the wall. In the center of the room, you notice a wide bed, surrounded by a white veil. You push the veil aside with your hand and see that 2 zombies are sleeping there. They open their eyes, get up, and slowly walk towards you. What are you gonna do now? Use the rope you found before, tie it to the torch stand, and go down through the window. Great. The zombies are too stupid to pull the rope back. You're on the ground and see a car. At this moment, the werewolf breaks out of the castle. You get into the vehicle
not
and
bad.
lock the door. The werewolf hits the window with its paws. You can't find the key. It's probably in the glove compartment, but it has a
Every question correctly, so I guess with the guide, it's very easy. Minimum 75% correct answers. So after doing it once, it's easy. Everything's 75%.
a 3-digit combination lock. Recall the beginning of your adventure and try to guess the code.
435.
Hurry up before the werewolf breaks the glass. In the dungeon where you woke up, there were several signs on the wall. 4 vertical stripes, 3 stripes below them, and a check mark even lower. The check mark is the Roman numeral 5. Then the code is 435. You take out the key, start the engine, and drive away. You leave the castle, but realize the car's brakes don't work. There are 3 roads ahead. A brick wall is at the end of the first one. The second road leads to a burning forest. And the third road ends on a high hill with a cliff. What path will you choose? There's almost no time. You're driving too fast.
Guitar.
Release the gas pedal and drive up the hill. The speed will soon drop. At one point, you'll be able to get out of the vehicle. You jump out of the car and it falls off the cliff. You go around the hill and get into a swamp. You make your way through the marsh and see 3 women in front of you.
All right.
Which one is a mermaid?
She has gills.
The woman in the middle has something strange on her neck. Those are gills. The second girl has webbed fingers. The girl on the left seems normal. She's a human.
Oh.
You pass through the swamps and
Which
find
one is a
yourself on
human?
the seashore.
Oops.
An old motorboat is lying on the sand. You push it to the water, start the engine, and climb inside. You go far away from the island with the castle. In the distance, you see some rocks and shipwrecks. You slow down and hear beautiful singing. It's coming from several women staying on top of the rocks. They're sirens. Using their singing, they lure sailors whose ships crash against the rocks. You move straight toward them and can't resist it. The rocks are getting closer and closer. Do something, quickly!
We have the old MP3 player.
You still have your MP3 player you found in the pit. You put on the headphones, turn on the music, and go away. The engine stalls. Far ahead, you can see an outline of another island. You grab an oar and start rowing. A few hours pass. You're hungry and thirsty. There are fish swimming in the water, and you find a can of worms in the boat. But how can you catch them without a fishing rod? Use one of your shoelaces. Tie the bait to it and lower it into the water. It works! You catch a few fish, but then you notice a shark's fin. It circles you and pushes the boat. The island is really close, but you need to get away from the dangerous creature. How are you going to solve this problem? Throw the fish you've caught as far as possible. This will distract the shark and give you some time to get to the shore. Whew, done. But unfortunately, you've given your lunch away to the sea hunter. Exhausted, you get to the shore. Here, you meet a man. It says it was him who left you the MP3 player and the rope. He also wrote the code on the wall of the dungeon. Without a word, you kick him in the shins and he hobbles off. No, you don't, but I sure would. Anyway, you're glad that everything is over and just lie down on the sand. But the man tells you it's not the time to relax. Other tough tests are waiting for you. You hear bizarre sounds coming from the jungle. But that's another story, and this one is coming to an end.
And a 15, so not quite 75. Oh, Freddy, just too late. Mr. Coolness has won today. I will send that to you on Discord, Mr. Coolness. Who will escape? Alright, Diamond Heist. This will be the last one. Well, let's see what else is there. Left or right? Which way? Who is rich? Who is a copycat? Who isn't smart? God, there's a million. Eye test? Alright, we'll just go in order. California
Okay, listen to me
love.
very carefully, my friend. Here's the deal. First, to steal the diamond, you need to get to a remote island. It doesn't exist on any map, and it's forbidden for ordinary people to be there. The diamond is in the heart of this place, inside a well-guarded deep underground bunker. It's impossible to get there through the main entrance. But lucky you, there's also a secret jail on the island. You can get there as a prisoner and then escape
Are
through the
you still
underground
there?
tunnel. That tunnel will lead you into the bunker. Then you should find the diamond. you'll have very little time for the whole operation. When you're done, a boat will be waiting for you in the southern part of the island.
Don't forget, tune in
Do
tomorrow.
everything correctly and follow the plan, and then you'll encounter no problems. Got it? All right, let's go. You and other prisoners get into a helicopter and fly to the island. You're handcuffed. At one moment, the helicopter begins to shake. The pilot says you're falling. He puts on a parachute and jumps out of the helicopter. Take a look around and decide what to do next. Faster! You see the keys to your handcuffs hanging near the cabin. Then you get rid of the handcuffs. The prisoners ask you to release them too. But be careful, these people are dangerous. All three of them say they know how to fly a helicopter. Who will you believe? That guy with a tattoo with a helicopter on his leg. Maybe he's a good pilot. You remove his handcuffs and he admits he has lied. None of these people knows how to fly a helicopter. There's only one parachute left. The prisoner pushes you to the side, grabs the parachute, and jumps out of the falling helicopter. You decide to release the other prisoners too. What will you do next? Jump without a parachute? Try to land the helicopter on your own?
Jumping without a parachute would work.
The helicopter's pilot abandoned the vehicle because the landing was impossible. So you will not succeed either. You need to jump. You have been flying over the ocean, remember? Also, the helicopter is falling, so the height isn't that great. You jump into the water and swim toward the shore. Suddenly, you notice a shark's fin. It's quickly approaching you. What are you going to do? A. Try to swim to the shore as fast as possible. B. Don't swim anywhere and just float in the water. C. Dive and start waving your hands to scare the shark away.
That sounds like a good plan.
You need to stop. If you start swimming away, the shark will begin chasing you. Breathe in a lot of air and try not to make unnecessary movements. The shark will leave soon. But if it attacks, you'll have to attack back. Its gills and eyes are the animal's weak spots. Fortunately, the shark doesn't charge at you. It swims away, and you get to the shore safely. The island's guards are running out of the jungle. One of the prisoners who was with you in the helicopter is hiding in the bushes and invites you to join him. Where will you go?
You set him free, so he owes you one.
Let the guards catch you and take you to jail. Don't forget about your
Oh,
mission.
yes, the plan.
They dress you in a yellow shirt and lead you away. You see many dangerous people. You're sitting at the table having lunch. There are 3 prisoners in front of you. One of them is going to escape. But who?
He has a cell phone.
That man with a book. A metal file serves him as a bookmark. Today, he will also try to escape. The underground tunnel leading from the prison to the bunker is located under the laundry room. You need to get out of your cell and get there. To do this, you have to get the metal file and pick the lock. Everyone goes out into the courtyard for a walk. You're following the man with the book. He sits down on the bench and hides the book under the seat. You need to distract him and get your hands on the book. You can use a basketball, dumbbells, or playing cards. What will you do?
Playing cards.
You can offer to work out with the dumbbells or play cards, but it will be difficult for you to get out of his sight. Start playing basketball. Throw the ball far away. The prisoner will run after it. Meanwhile, you'll take the book. So you grab the book but find no file inside. Instead of this, you find some money. It seems this guy has sold the tool to one of the other prisoners. You put the money in your pocket and look around the yard. Which of the prisoners can have the metal file?
He looks suspicious.
That guy is pressing his fingers to the sleeve of his shirt. Apparently, he's hiding the tool there. You're about to approach him, but one of the prisoners starts a fight. The guards are trying to prevent a riot. In all this chaos, someone hits you on the head and you lose consciousness. You wake up in a hospital ward. Oh no, you have almost no time left. The doors are locked. Several security guards are walking around. How can you get into the laundry room? In the corner, there's a huge cart with dirty laundry. Hide in there, and they'll take you to where you need to go. You hide among the dirty sheets. The cleaner takes the cart and transports you to the laundry room. He throws the linen into the washing machine and notices you. The cleaner's going to scream and call the guards. What will you do?
Give him the money.
You have some money, remember? You can pay for his silence. You move one of the washing machines and find a hatch under it. You climb inside and walk through the tunnel.
That's
It's
crawl.
very cold, wet, and dark here. Finally, you reach a small room. There are no windows and doors, only brick walls. What will you do? You can't go back. Among all these bricks, there's one sticking out of the wall. Try to push it. It worked. A secret door opens, and you step inside.
Secret
You
door.
go down and find yourself in front of another iron door. You notice an oxygen tank with a mask lying nearby. You open the door and find yourself in an airlock room between two iron doors. One of the doors closes behind you. All the oxygen gets pumped out. You can't breathe, so you put on the mask. The second iron door opens and you go inside. You see 3 tunnels. The first tunnel is filled with moving axes, blades, and other traps. High-voltage electric discharges flicker in the second tunnel. The third tunnel is burning with a bright flame. One of the threats is an illusion. Which tunnel will you choose? There's no air in the room, which means fire can't burn here. The flame is a hologram. You move on and find yourself in front of a dark room. It's so dark you can't see what's inside. It seems to you that the diamond is there. Stop. What is this diamond? Who gave you this mission? What are you doing here? What's happening? At this moment, some unknown force pushes you forward. You step into the black void and fall. You find yourself floating in outer space. It's so cold and scary here. You feel tiny in the boundless universe. Suddenly, you see something shining. Is it a star or an asteroid?
Or a
A
diamond.
bright light illuminates the black space around you. Good job, a heavy voice says. You reach out your hand and touch the light. At this moment, at a great speed, you start flying back through space and time. You're falling fast and land in a dirty room. Frightened, you get up and open the door. Oh, yes, sunlight. You finally get out of the bunker and find yourself on the island. There are 2 paths in front of you. One leads to the south, the other to the north. Which one will you choose?
South looks pleasant.
The boat is supposed to be waiting for you in the south, remember? You go through the jungle and find an old car. You start the engine and grab an MP3 player with headphones from the glove compartment. You drive along the road listening to music when you realize the brakes don't work. There are 3 ways ahead. A brick wall is waiting for you at the end of the first road. The second one leads to a swamp, and the third leads to a high hill with a cliff. Where are you going to drive? There's almost no time.
We've already answered this one, and it's that.
Release the gas pedal and drive up the hill. The car will start slowing down, and soon you'll be able to get out of it. You go through the jungle and find yourself on the shore. There's an old motorboat on the sand.
This is a
You
weird
push
game.
it into the water, start the engine, and get in. After traveling for some time, you see rocks with shipwrecks next to them. You slow down and hear beautiful singing coming from the rocks. The singing is beckoning, and you direct your boat right toward the rocks.
Turn on the music again.
You're quickly approaching the place and can do nothing to stop the inevitable. What will you do?
Put on music.
You have the MP3 player you found in the car. You put on the headphones, turn on cool epic music, and travel away.
Epic.
You're heading towards sunset, toward new adventures.
8 of 14. Oh, that's funny. Alright, well that is where we're going to end today's stream. This has been Bright Side Riddles and Puzzles, available now on the Xbox Store for $7.99. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow.
Are you still there?
I should be live at 4:30. I do have a doctor's appointment in the morning. I don't think it's going to affect my stream. Anyway, have a great rest of your Sunday. Stay safe and happy gaming.
Charlotte and Elizabeth are doing some homework. Who's not being smart? Elizabeth. Charlotte's safe because the iron is turned off. While out camping, you come across an angry brown bear that's coming closer and closer to you. What should you do? Fall to the ground. That way the bear won't see you as a threat. He placed his watch on the table and was looking for his train ticket when the train went into a dark tunnel. When it came out, Brian's watch was gone. Who took the watch? It was Mary. When the journey started, she had her sleeves rolled up, and if she were sleeping, she wouldn't put them down. These two travelers are so tired, they fell asleep on the job. Whose decision isn't smart? Sally's. When one pilot is asleep, the co-pilot can take over. She realized one $10 bill was missing. Shirley looked around. One of these people must have taken the bill. The bill is under his right foot.